I'm sorry, do I need to center the text? How's that? Okay, so commentary. So, this is Ocarina of Time Master Quest. This is a special version of Ocarina of Time that was only released as a pre-order bonus for Wind Waker. And it features redesigned dungeons. It's meant to be a harder version of Ocarina of Time, but in reality it's really not that much harder. It's really just very different dungeon designs. They have new puzzles and new enemies and stuff like that in the dungeons. Otherwise, the game is exactly the same as normal Ocarina of Time. All of the overworld is exactly the same, and all the mechanics work the same. So you'll see a lot of the same glitches, like, actually I probably shouldn't, like, talk about the glitches, just say they'll be the same, but yeah. You'll see a lot of the same glitches, but used in completely new ways in this run. And this is where you read donations. Yeah, I should probably talk about like how they're redesigned. So, like the dungeons in Master Quest, they're designed a bit differently than you would expect a normal Zelda dungeon to be. They're more, how would I describe it? They're more like tricky things you wouldn't think about than traditional Zelda puzzles, like, yeah, Petrie, I honestly agree too. I wanted to do Dungeon Dice Monsters for AGDQ, but they rejected it. But yeah, so the dungeons in this game are very different from what you would expect in a traditional Zelda dungeon. There's a lot more very weird, quirky things than you would expect, which kind of throws off a lot of people because the puzzles are not what you would typically expect. So the movement in this game is a combination of backwalking, rolling, and slide hopping. What kind of movement I use depends on the situation. Generally, if you're going a short distance that you can reach in 4 or less rolls, you want to roll. For longer distances, you generally want to backwalk, and if you want to turn a corner really quickly without having to actually turn Link, slide hopping is pretty good, as well as going up and down slopes. The beginning of the run is pretty standard for an Ocarina of Time run. You go get the sword, collect rupees for the shield, and then we're gonna head inside the Deku Tree, which is not typical for Ocarina of Time speedruns, as you generally do not want to go in the Deku Tree first thing, but we will in this run. Oh yeah, I should upload or update the record too. I'll do that when I get a chance. I wonder how many donations to AGDQ are exactly the same as other donations. Considering how similar almost all donations are, I bet there's a handful of donations that are character for character 100% identical. So I did a small trick there where I tried to jump slash the wall right before entering this cutscene. So this cutscene tries to make Link move to a specific point, and by jump slashing the wall right before I enter the cutscene, I delay Link's movement there, so to compensate, the game makes Link move really fast towards that point, but then he actually moves too fast and runs past it. So I end up getting a little bit closer to the Deku Tree. And so here's the first dungeon, the Deku Tree. This is where you're going to start seeing the differences of Master Quest. Right off the bat, you can see that some enemies are not where you'd expect them to be normal OOT. And some different stuff coming up here. So first thing I want to do in Deku Tree is get the slingshot, which is on the top floor in Master Quest. And that's all I'm really going to be doing in the Deku Tree for right now. Then I'm just going to leave. I'll come back here later to finish it up, as it is required for the category. But I'm not going to finish it up right now. So this is the room where you get the slingshot. To make the slingshot chest appear, you need to kill all the enemies in this room, which consists of that one Deku Baba and then a bunch of Goma larvae, which are in the eggs on the walls. And you can kill them really easily with Deku Nuts, because the Deku Nuts range is huge. That kills them all pretty quickly. And then here is the slingshot chest. No, bottom of the well is not a dungeon in this category. Oh man, I forgot my PB had a really good slingshot. My run is scheduled for 8 PM on Friday, EST. So now that I've got the slingshot, I'm gonna head out. I'll come back later to finish it up, but the slingshot is all I need for right now. So normally you do need to beat the Deku Tree to even leave the forest, but there are several ways of leaving the forest early. I'm gonna head to the Lost Woods right now to get out of here. Collect a few rubies on the way. So in Lost Woods, there's a few warps that take you to other places in the game. One to Goron City and one to Zora's River. I'm going to take the Zora's River warp. You normally can only reach it with a silver or gold scale, which I don't have yet. But you can clip into the stone and reach the loading zone early. And so now I'm out to Zora's River. Now from Zora's River, I want to go directly to Zora's Domain, which is on my right. But to get into Zora's Domain, there's a big waterfall blocking the way. You're supposed to play Zelda's Lullaby to get rid of it. But I don't have Zelda's Lullaby yet, and one alternative is to go all the way to the bottom of Zora's River and grab the Cucco at the bottom. Bring him all the way back to the top of the river, and you can fly past the waterfall using him. Oh no. Somehow I knew that was gonna happen. Please tell me he's on land. Okay, he is. Not that bad. And so now I'm in Zora's Domain. And so I want to go to Jabu as my next dungeon. But King Zora is blocking the way to Zora's Fountain. And there's two ways I could get past King Zora. One is the normal method of getting Ruto's letter and giving it to him. The other method is you can glitch past him if you have explosives, bombs, or bomb chews. But unfortunately, it's too slow to get bombs or bomb chews this early in Master Quest, at least for this category. So I'm gonna be getting Zora's letter like normal or Ruto's letter like normal. So I have to play this minigame to get the silver scale. And then get Ruto's letter, and then I give it to King Zora and get to Jabu. If you're lucky, you can get multiple rubies in the same dive, but sometimes they're spread too far apart. Hey Archie. Where am I? No, I'm not going to be on the couch for Hundo. I'll probably watch a decent amount of it, though. I don't know if I'll stay up for the whole thing, though, because I might want to just get some sleep, but depends on how the schedule actually works out. And now here's everyone's favorite cutscene. So normally to get into Jabu, you need to give him a fish. But you can clip inside his mouth by getting up on this railing and jump slashing this wall. And just go straight in. And so now Jabu is one of the most interesting, has some of the most interesting changes in Master Quest. The big change being there are cows everywhere. So Jabu has just a bunch of cows on the walls, and all the cows act as switches. This is what I actually need the slingshot for. These cows only react to the slingshot. And so, I'm gonna go backwards through Jabu here. I'm gonna get ISG off this chest. ISG is the infinite sword glitch. It's a glitch where your sword swings infinitely and it prevents you from falling or being pushed up by stuff like that water jet. So I kind of just got stuck in the water jet, and then I was close enough to the door to open it. you're not supposed to get into this room from that side, so I'm actually entering this room from behind. And this is really good because this ends up skipping Rudo completely. One thing that's really dumb about normal Ocarina of Time normal Ocarina of Time Jabu is that you have to carry Rudo throughout the dungeon, and it's really boring. It makes Jabu probably the most boring dungeon in Ocarina of Time to speedrun, but in Master Quest you can completely ignore Rudo, which is really neat. And so here's where you get the boomerang. Now this room also has a really important chest. That chest that just fell down from shooting that cow gives me basically the best item in the game, bomb chews. So bomb chews as well as bombs are both extremely important items in basically any Ocarina of Time run because explosives can just do so many different tricks and glitches, one of which you'll see coming up very soon. So what I want to do now is there's a big slimy thing blocking the door to the next room I want to enter. So what I did there is I shot the cow to activate a chest falling down and then tried to open the door right as the cutscene started. And so I interrupted my door transition, which caused the next room to load, which also causes some stuff in this current room to unload. One of the things that unloaded was this big electric slimy thing blocking this door. So I can now enter here. And in the previous room, I did a mega flip with the first big trick using explosives. Basically, if you roll, if you roll, hold your shield up when you get out of your roll, and backflip and immediately get your shield hit, you'll do a really far mega flip that allows me to cross that really big gap and get to the boss, the pre-boss room early. And then the puzzle in that last room before the boss, you're actually supposed to shoot the cow to move up the wall, which would eventually lead to you shooting the switch I hit. But if you know where the switch is, you can just aim for it, which is why it looked like I was just randomly shooting at some spot on the wall. But I just knew where the switch is. So Baronade's a fairly simple but kind of interesting boss. So Deconuts are really good for Baronade because they kill the berries instantly. And then for the second phase, after I hit Baronade and Baronade goes under the ground, I want to intentionally get hit because it makes Baronade come up immediately. Otherwise, you have to just wait a pretty long time for Baronade to come up again. And then you just gotta hit Baronade a bunch and it's dead. I also did the power crouch stab trick there. If you saw me doing attacks with my crouch stab, like stabbing while shielding, your crouch stab has the same power as the last attack you used. So I did a Deku Stick Jump Slash, which has twice the power. Deku Stick in general has twice the power of the Kukiri Sword. When I did a Deku Stick Jump Slash and then did a power crouch stab, the power crouch stab does the power of the Deku Stick Jump Slash, which lets me do a lot of damage to Baronade pretty quickly. Oh yeah, so I don't take damage from getting hit by Baronade because near the end of your roll you have invincibility. And so every time I rolled into Baronade, I was actually hitting Baronade during my invincibility, so I wasn't taking any damage. Yeah, HEDQ practice. And so that's the first dungeon done as child. This is actually going to be the only dungeon I do as child. I am going to visit one other dungeon, not complete it though. And then I will become adult and do the rest of the dungeons as adult. Right now I actually want to go down to Kakariko. I'm going to be exiting Zora's Domain and then taking the river down. But before I leave, I want to catch a fish here. This fish is going to be extremely useful later on in the run. Bottled items in general in this game are extremely broken. You can just do lots of extremely important tricks with them, which you'll see later on. There's a small little time saver there, jump slashing the wall, just because it gives you a burst of speed. So coming up here is a glitch I'm going to do called a Hess. I'm going to do a mega flip into the water. And then, I missed it. What I was trying to do there is do a mega flip into the water and then hold very slightly to the right on my control stick, just barely outside of the dead zone. This is known as the ESS zone, or Extended Super Slide Zone. So it's this state where, if you just do it on normal ground, Link is kind of shuffling his feet and turning, but not actually moving. And in this state, you can preserve speed if you have speed before doing it. So what I wanted to do there is mega flip into the water preserves my speed, and then move on to land while holding the ESS position. I don't need that Cuckoo. Which would then carry my mega flip speed onto land, and then I could slide all the way to Kakariko really fast from that. And it would also dodge the owl. But unfortunately I messed it up. The position on the control stick is pretty precise. It's just barely outside that zone, especially on the GameCube version. It actually varies between versions. On the N64 version it's really easy. On the GameCube version it's much more difficult, as well as the VC version. So now I want to get to Shadow Temple, and I'm going to do a glitch called a Super Slide Teleport. So right now I cannot pick up this grass, and I'm going to try to do a trick called a Super Slide, where I roll, try to shield and target a piece of grass when I come up from my roll and get my shield hit, and that sends me back really fast. It's the same speed as a mega flip, and so I go sliding up the graveyard. I gain a lot of height from going up the slopes in the graveyard. And then because I can't, you have to hold the shield to keep the super slide going. Hi, sorry about that. I'll just continue commentary from here. I wanted Death Warp out of Shadow Temple because save warping is really slow on Master Quest, and Death Warping, I need to get out of Shadow Temple quickly, and this is just the best way over save warping, which is significantly slower on GameCube. Dang. So now I need to go to the market, and I'm probably gonna just barely not make it before night, but there's a trick I can do to get on the chains, even if they're not up, or even if they're going up. So as long as the last time you looked at the chains, it was down. If you slowly inch your way towards the chains without looking at the bridge completely, they'll still be down, and then as soon as you fully let the camera look at the bridge, you'll like warp up immediately. I need to get some of those rupees to buy the shield, which I'll need early in adult. And so now I'm going to go straight to Temple of Time. Normally, going to Temple of Time at this point in the game, you can't really do anything. You normally need the Song of Time and the 3 spiritual stones to open the Door of Time. But luckily, there's a small crack between the Door of Time and the wall, which you can use to get out of bounds and skip right past it. Like that. And this will allow me to become adult early, which is really good because doing the rest of the child dungeons as child is actually pretty slow. Adult can do them much faster and take advantage of a few other things that child can't. So this is pretty huge. And now you can read donations for half an hour. Yeah, I find it strange that such an important actor was misplaced so badly. Like, there's plenty of other actors that are slightly misplaced, like the switch in the hammer room in Fire Temple. But it's like only very slightly misplaced. But the Door of Time is like, it's a pretty big misplacement. It's almost like they wanted it to happen. Except not really. Well, OT 2 pause isn't exactly interesting. It's kind of like any percent. I think there's something similar being worked on for 100% though. Oh no! I forgot about the anniversary of Opponent Hopping Offense. I'm so ashamed, dude. I can't believe I forgot about it. I can't believe that video is 10 years old. The anniversary of Opponent Hopping Offense, one of the greatest Ocarina of Time speedrun videos ever made. So the first thing I want to do as adult is a glitch called Reverse Bottle Adventure. I'm going to try to get a bottle on my B button, and getting that bottle on my B button is going to modify parts of my inventory based on the item I have on C right. So in order to get the bottle on my B button, what I have to do is put a ball in my hand, and try to get in the water and pull out my sword right before I hit the water. This makes the game think my B button is the last button I pressed before I swing that bottle. And then, so when you swing a bottle, it goes, the new item you catch goes over the last button you pressed, which typically is your bottle. But I tricked the game into thinking it was my sword. So now I have a bottle on my B button. And so, as I said, it modifies parts of my inventory based on my C right item. The first thing I did was with, come on. Was with empty bottle on C right, which gives me another bottle in my third bottle slot. After that, I did empty bottle with Poe on C, or I emptied my B bottle with Poe on C right. Poe on C right modifies your bomb chew count, so that gave me 20 bomb chews because the empty bottle has a value of 29 or 20, and I forgot to get bugs, which is the value of 29, which will give me 29 bomb chews. Now I need to go in Dampé's grave. Doing this race with Dampé gives you the hook shot, which is just a really important item in general. It's not used for too many glitches, but it's just really important for a lot of stuff in general. I was gonna be so mad if I got crushed there. So now to get out of Dampé's grave, going through here takes you to the windmill, and you're actually blocked by 2 Song of Time blocks. Now I don't have the Song of Time right now, so I can't get rid of these Song of Time blocks, but I can clip past them with a bomb chew, like this. And then from here I can just exit the windmill. And go up to Death Mountain. I'm gonna try to do another Hess here. You can do it without water just by rolling into an explosion and... Come on. Okay. Rolling into an explosion and... holding ESS position during your roll. And then pressing Z and R right when you get hit. And so that's a really fast general method of travel, which I'll try to use a few times in this run. So in Dodongo's Cavern, in Master Quest, it has a really nice change from normal Ocarina of Time. In Ocarina of Time, the bomb chest is all the way at the top of Dodongo's Cavern, but in Master Quest, it's all the way at the bottom, so it's very easy to get. Before I get it, though, I'm going to send these chews on the wall. Oh no. Okay, good. And so by running those chews on the wall in a specific way, they can actually light the eyes for the Dodongo head early. You're only supposed to light them from the top. And so I don't have to go to the top of the Dodongo's Cavern at all, which is really nice. So Dodongo's Cavern I'm also going to come back later for. It's not good for me to beat it right now. I'm just going to leave, come back later. What I want to do, really... What I want to do right now is go to Goron City. And I'm going to pick up some songs and the Goron Tunic. Really? If you let go of this statue as soon as it starts moving backwards, you can just let go, or if you time it right, you can let go as soon as it starts moving backwards and not have to do the whole animation. Now in Death Mountain Crater, this is where you get the Blur of Fire. I want to get the song, but I don't want to watch the cutscene. I'm going to do a trick to fall out of bounds during the cutscene. By getting on this edge over here, backwalking and pulling out my sword. This does a glitch where I grab the ledge and I start falling through the ground. And so now I'll void out. And the good thing about that is you get that song as soon as you enter the cutscene. So I now have the Blur of Fire, but I didn't have to go through the whole cutscene to get it. So now I'm going to go to Sacred Forest Meadow and get the Minuet of Forest. And I'm going to do a similar thing there. Mido here is normally supposed to block you from going to Sacred Forest Meadow unless you have Saria's Song. But you can just Mega Flip over him. You can also just Back Flip over him, but it's a little bit slower. Here I'm going to do a glitch called the Ground Jump, where if you try to grab a bomb and shield while targeting and shielding, the bomb will just blow up on your shield. You won't be able to pick it up. And after the bomb blows up, if you try to do a backflip or a side hop, you'll do a forward jump. And now I'm going to do another glitch called down A. This is where my A button now says down. It's as if I'm permanently on a ladder, even though I'm moving around. And one neat thing this does is allow me to walk on slippery slopes, such as that slope I just walked up there. This allows me to get out of bounds up here, slide hop down. Now the Minuet of Forest trigger is extremely big, so I'm actually going to hit the trigger from very far out of bounds. And again, because you get the song as soon as you enter the cutscene, I got the song without having to watch it. And now I'm just going to run back up to Forest Temple. And never trust my angle here anymore. Oh my god. So I do want to be very low health in Forest Temple. I'm going to be dying at the end of the dungeon intentionally, so having low health here is good. Deku Nuts are really nice for these first two rooms to just stop these Skulltulas from annoying you. So this cutscene is basically meaningless. The normal way you're supposed to beat Forest Temple is to find the 4 Poes and kill them all so you have access to the basement, and then from the basement you can get to the boss room. But there's a much faster way to get to the boss room. By going up these stairs and getting near the railing, you can backflip over the railing just a tiny bit. And then from here you'll clip through the floor. You jump forward and land directly in the loading zone for the boss room. So the reason I was able to get directly into the loading zone is in any dungeon, no matter where you are in the dungeon, all of the loading zones and all of the collision for the doors and walls and ceilings will always be loaded no matter where you are in the dungeon. It's just each individual room you're in only has stuff like textures and objects loaded. And so just because I just knew that the loading zone is directly under that area, I could just jump right into it. Over Phantom Ganon, the way you tell the real one from the fake one is the real one is brighter, and the real one also makes sound. I missed it. So the infinite sword glitch takes care of Phantom Ganon pretty easily. What I was trying to do there was when you shoot the hookshot or bow at Phantom Ganon, he'll spin his staff, and when he spins his staff he's vulnerable for a short amount of time. And what I was trying to do is make my ISG hit him while shooting the hookshot the other way. And that would keep him down so I could kill him really quickly, but unfortunately I wasn't quite in the right position. He got away. So now, I'm gonna get the Force Medallion by going the Blue Warp, but I want to skip the cutscene. So what I'm gonna do is a glitch called Ocarina Items, where I'm gonna have to catch something in my bottle, and then I can do a backflip, press the bottle button, and another item that Link holds in his hands. And I'll play it as a fake ocarina, and then by doing this on the edge of a blue warp, I'll be able to gain control while the blue warp is supposed to be beginning the next cutscene. So what I want to do is take advantage of this control and die on a very specific frame. And by dying on this very specific frame, I should end up getting the Force Medallion, but not having to watch the entire cutscene for it. And that is the correct frame. That white flash indicates that I did do the cutscene skip correctly and I did get the Force Medallion. So now I'm finally going to go back to Deku Tree. And you're normally not supposed to be able to get into the Deku Tree as adult, because the Deku Tree's mouth is shut as adult, but there is a way to get into it. So the Kokiri Forest is split into two separate sections, the Deku Tree area and the main house area. And there's a loading trigger in between, so if you bypass that loading trigger, then the Deku Tree's mouth will not load. And so you can just walk right into the Deku Tree, and that's what I want to do here. And to bypass that load trigger, I'm going to try to do a super slide on this fence. And that'll allow me to get to this upper ledge. And from here, I can bypass the load trigger, which is in that tunnel. And now there's nothing loaded in this area, and I can just walk directly into the Deku Tree. Now, the Deku Tree as adult is pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff that adult can do that doesn't work as child's here. Being able to use the hook shot is also really nice. Oh my god, I keep doing this. So bad. So I want to climb to the top. I'm gonna make a return to the slingshot room, because these platforms are really special. These platforms, if you grab the platforms as adult, when they go back down, you will clip through the ground with them. I'm going to grab on this edge right here, drop down, do a jump slash, and I'll recoil off the platform. And this will give me a really high speed. I'm going to go backwards and hit the loading zone for the Goma boss room. And here's Goma. And so the Goma boss fight is really easy. You just throw a Deku Nut and then hit her a few times, and she's dead. So what I'm going to do now, I am not going to just enter the blue warp, and I'm not going to do a normal cutscene skip like I did in Forest Temple. What I'm going to do is a wrong warp. So what I need to do is, I need to get in a very specific position to do Ocarina items on the blue warp again, similar to what I did in Forest Temple. But instead of just dying on a specific frame, what I want to do is get out of bounds, fall out of bounds, and void out on the exact frame that the game is going to try to load the Kokiri Emerald cutscene. And so, once you do Ocarina items, the game starts a timer for the blue warp. And once the timer hits 0, it's going to start the next cutscene. But the timer stops after you get a certain distance away from it, or the camera isn't in a certain range of it. But right now, the blue warp is stopped. And what I want to do is use this time it stopped to get to the top of this door, to get out of bounds, and then I'll reactivate it later on, right as I'm about to void out, to try to get the wrong warp to work. So from this point, I'm going to do a glitch called Action Swap. I'm going to try to take out a Bomb Chew while I'm not able to take out a Bomb Chew because of a certain explosion limit. Right there, the game thought there was too many Bomb Chews on screen so that I couldn't take out another one. So it got interrupted. And when you do that with another item in your hand, it causes a random action to happen. In that case, it was a ground jump. And so that ground jump allowed me to climb to the top of the door. Now from the top of the door, I want to do one hover out of bounds with a side hop. And now from here, I need to wait for the camera to pan. So after you're out of bounds for a few seconds, about 10 seconds, the camera locks in place and won't move anymore, and instead will just follow Link rather than being behind Link all the time. So from here, I'm going to fall. If I do this right, it will trigger the cutscene at the same time. It will trigger the Kokiri Emerald cutscene at the same time I try to void out, which causes a wrong warp and goes to Bongo Bongo's room. So I need to drop this fish and catch it again for another cutscene skip coming up after this. And then to actually kill Bongo, I got the infinite sword glitch, which just kind of wrecks him. He gets stun locked, he can't move because I'm hitting him too fast, and he just dies. You need that camera lock to happen because it's kind of hard to explain. So you need the camera to be facing a certain direction to make the blue warp load, but you can't have it be facing that direction the entire time you're falling. And so by having the camera locked in a certain way and moving so that the camera follows Link instead of being behind Link, just makes it easier to manipulate the camera in the right way for it to load the warp in time. And so this one is more similar to Forest Temple. I just gotta die in the right frame. There's no wrong warp that's gonna be happening here. And that is Shadow Temple and Deku Tree, both done. So I need to get some bomb drops for going to Water Temple next. I need at least 10 bombs, so I gotta keep farming bombs here until I get enough. Alright, that's fine. So from Lost Woods, I'm going to take that Zora's River exit again to go from Lost Woods to Zora's River and then go to Zora's Domain from there. And then from Zora's Domain to Lake Hylia. So as adult, Zora's Domain is actually frozen, and you're normally not able to use the warp from Zora's Domain to Lake Hylia, but you can get out of bounds and get to that warp as adult anyway. You can use hover boots here to get past the waterfall without needing Zelda's Lullaby. So here, I'm going to clip out of bounds by using this ladder. If you grab the edge right where a ladder is, it'll clip you out of bounds like that. And now, the warp is right over here under the water. So I just gotta float up to the warp, and I'll be taken to Lake Hylia. Now to actually get into Water Temple, you would normally need iron boots, but you can clip out of bounds here as well, and enter Water Temple from out of bounds. What I did there is called a ledge clip. So if you grab a ledge right next to a wall, and you press Z to target the wall as soon as you grab the ledge, it'll turn Link in that direction, which will actually clip him out of bounds, so you can just draw out of bounds. And so you can just swim in this out of bounds water under the ground Thankfully, the water is so low before you beat Water Temple. And now I'm in Water Temple. And Water Temple ends up being pretty short as well, so to get past the first room, all I need is a super slide with hover boots. And this will completely take me past the first room. So I can get to this ledge, which you normally would need to get long shot for. And then in this room, you also are normally supposed to use long shot to get past these floor raisers, but with hover boots, you are able to roll past them. And then there's this crystal switch up here, which makes a hookshot platform appear. And if you get on the hookshot platform and you do a side hop and a jump slash, you will get past the boss door. It is exactly as easy as it looks. It's something anyone could just do on their casual playthrough. Yeah, this is commentary practice for HDQ. Actually, it'll clip you inbounds if you do it from the left side, but if you do it from the right side, you'll actually clip out of bounds. It has to do with the way Link turns. So I'm going to want to take damage while I'm waiting for Morpha to make the tentacle, because I'm going to have to die again soon. And then I'm just going to lure Morpha in the corner, so it can't escape, and then just crouch stab to death. Easy fight. The target appears after hitting the switch, and I can't hit the switch from the bottom. You can only reach it with long shot. So just another cutscene skip where I just have to die in the right frame. Now to get out of here, I don't actually have an ocarina right now, and I want to play an ocarina warp song. And my only way to actually play warp songs now is to do ocarina items. Which is why I'm going to play my hookshot to play Bolero Fire to get out of here. And from here I'm going to head back to Dodongo's Cavern and finally finish that up. Yeah, you can get a 15 speed slide in 3DS. You can do regular Hess just like normal. So after entering Dodongo's Cavern, the first thing I need to do is just save and reset. So I'm going to be doing another wrong warp soon, and the wrong warp is partially based. The wrong warp is partially based on your previous cutscene, or the last cutscene you watched, and I need to make that the title screen to make this wrong warp work. Otherwise, it'll actually just crash. So since I already have the Dodongo's head open from my earlier trip, I can just walk straight into it. And Adult Link is tall enough to reach this upper platform. So I can just jump up here, hit the switch to open the boss door, and that's it. Yes, Andrew. And so here's King Dodongo, the easiest and most boring boss in the game. The only thing you can do to make this interesting is throw the bombs off the wall to his mouth because it looks cool. Taking damage for another death coming up. I definitely do not miss the days when we hovered up to King Dodongo's mouth. I've basically decided the glitches I'm going to show. I might change it, but I think I'm set on it. So to do this next wrong warp, I need to line up with a specific texture on the ground. And so for this one, I actually need to die exactly as I cancel the Ocarina items on the blue warp. Alright, that should be good. And so this is going to cause the game to try to load the Goron Ruby cutscene at the same time it tries to load the beginning of Dodongo's Cavern. And instead, it will take me to Gerudo Training Grounds. Now, by exiting Gerudo Training Grounds, I immediately get caught because I don't have the Gerudo card. And get thrown in jail. But this is good because from jail, I have quick access to get to the Haunted Wasteland. I can get out of jail by hookshotting this point up here, which clips me through the ceiling. Then from here I want to get on this railing, and from here I can get on this mountainside, which will allow me to completely bypass the gate that you normally would need to open by freeing all the carpenters and getting the Gerudo card. And I can get to Haunted Wasteland early. And from the Haunted Wasteland, I want to try to do a Hess through the entire thing, which is pretty difficult, but saves a lot of time if I get it. I always fail it right there. So the second part of the wasteland, you normally would need the Lens of Truth to follow an invisible Poe. But if you just know the layout of the wasteland, you can just navigate it yourself pretty easily. There's a lot of good visual cues on the ground. Doing a super slide here can sometimes be kind of annoying because of the levers. They like to end your super slides early a lot. So instead of going directly into Spirit Temple right now, what I want to do is hover to the top of Spirit Temple and get the Mirror Shield early. So using my bombs and bomb shoes and the Infinite Sword glitch. By shielding explosive damage in the air, you can hover like this. And you can climb up the outside of Spirit Temple by getting on some very precise seams. And from here you can hookshot up to the Silver Gauntlets chest. But Silver Gauntlets isn't what I want. I'm going to super slide from here to the other side, to the other hand on the other side. And this is where I will get the Mirror Shield. So I can't go into Spirit Temple from the upper side. I don't have any keys, and without any keys, there's nothing you can do up there. So I just have to enter Spirit Temple from the lower side. And first thing I want to do in here is grab 2 chests that have bomb chews in them. I still have a lot of bomb chews I need for the run, so these help a lot. And so now I want to get to the child side. So Spirit Temple is split into an adult section and a child section. And you're not supposed to get to the child section as adult and vice versa, but you can by clipping through the wall with a super slide. And so now I'm in the child section, which you're normally not supposed to be. So I need to kill these torch slugs to enter this next room. This is where I want to go. This is why I want to be here as adult. So there's this metal gate in this room. And if you climb to the top of it as adult, I guess just because of how big adult Link is, he'll just clip through the top. And by backflipping up from there, I should actually save just in case. By backflipping up from there, you get to the upper, the main room. This is, right now I'm in the room with the big Spirit Temple statue. And I'm climbing the room, climbing the statue with very simple movements so I get exactly in the place I want to be. And I'm going to hover under the arm of the statue. And by hovering under the arm of the statue, you're able to get out of bounds. So I want to get out of bounds, and then from there, I can hover up to the boss room. And one thing I didn't mention about out of bounds hovering in this game. So when you shield drop a bomb chew out of bounds, it actually has different results depending on the version you're playing on. So on N64, shield dropping a bomb chew out of bounds will actually just flat out crash the game. On GameCube, however, it will actually do a double explosion, which is really good because that makes hovering out of bounds much easier. It means you can just do normal backflip shield drop bomb chews, which you can't normally do because your backflip moves too far away. And so for this Iron Knuckle, I don't want to outright kill him immediately. What I want to do is get him down to really low health. And just by going right in front of him, he can't really hit you because you're so close. I want to get him to really low health and lure him over to this corner. And I want to use his body armor to clip out of bounds using the hook shot, and then kill him with a bomb. So when you try to hookshot something so close to a wall like that, it'll clip you forwards through the wall. And then by killing him while out of bounds, I'll void out while it tries to start the cutscene, which completely skips the cutscene. And now I can fight Twinrova. You play OOT on GameCube by playing on the GameCube Ocarina of Time disc, which Master Quest is on. Really? So for the Twinrova fight, you just have to reflect one of their beams at the other one. It's kind of random when they shoot and what positions they shoot in. It can be kind of dumb. Sometimes they're in extremely difficult positions to shoot the other one, but so far this has been okay. Okay, just barely got it. And sometimes they just like to move around and not shoot and waste your time. So I was using the hookshot there to try to keep them in place while moving, so it's just easier to shoot them. And I'm also going to use the hookshot on this phase as well for a different reason. By using the hookshot right after she shoots, it makes her move to the next platform faster. Like that. So a lot of people think the beam she shoots out is random. She only starts shooting random beams when she's at low health. When she's at full health, like right at the beginning of the fight, she'll always shoot three in a row of the same. So there's no randomness to the second phase. And then if you just time your crouch stabs right, you can just one cycle Twinrova with power crouch stabs. Here's the last standard cutscene skip of the run for the Spirit Medallion. Same as before, just need to die at the right time and place. All of these setups for doing these cutscene skips, they are very precise in that they have to be frame perfect and they have to be in precise positions. But they all have these very simple setups where you can do very simple movement that will 100% of the time get you to the right place at the right time. Thanks to the way OT movement mechanics work, there's so many movement options to move you exactly a certain amount and change your angle exactly a certain amount. And so you can combine all these different movement options and angle changing options to make really easy setups for things that would otherwise be really difficult. And so now here's the last dungeon, Fire Temple. This one has a really interesting change from normal Ocarina of Time because the hammer is all the way at the bottom of the temple instead of the top of the temple. And it's in the room directly in front of me. You're normally supposed to get through it coming from the other direction. But, okay, I missed it there. But what I want to do is use the like to clip out of bounds. And then I'll land in the room next to me. I'll land in a certain part of the room where there's no wall. So I'm able to still get back out of bounds. And I can use that to bypass the gates in this room. Okay, here we go. From here I'm going to set up a super slide. I can get past the gates blocking the way through the room, get in here, and this is where the flare dancer is. And beating flare dancer gives you the hammer. Really? It didn't accept my A input. Whatever, I guess I get to get more bombs for safety. His death is on purpose to get back to the beginning of Fire Temple faster. Now that I have the hammer, I'm set to go fight Volvagia. The only thing you really need to beat Volvagia is the hammer. But I need to do a boss key skip. Now I can't get in the room right before the boss room because you need magic to get in there. And I don't even have the Zelda's Lullaby, which you need to get magic in the first place, and then you need to get fire arrows or Din's Fire. So I did a ledge clip to get into this room, which is completely unloaded, but all the collision is loaded still. So right now I'm on the platform right in front of the boss door, and I'm going to do a ledge clip to get under it. And from here I'm going to try to hover into the boss room from out of bounds, from below it. Alright. And here is Volvagia's room. I did not mean to jump slash there. No, the boss fights are not any different. So for the Volvagia fight, what I'm going to do is send bomb shoes down and... No, don't kill me again. Why, dude? Oh my god, only one has hit so far. Or two. Okay. So, anyway, the way Volvagia works is, Volvagia has two hitboxes, one for the flying one and one for the one that pops out of the holes. And the one for the flying one goes under the last hole it flew into, which at the beginning of the fight is the hole right in front of you. So I was using a combination of bomb juice and Deku Nuts. The Deku Nuts being used to blow up the bomb juice faster, and normal bombs to hit Volvagia faster. And so now here comes the last wrong warp. So I'm gonna do, please don't, okay. So again I need to do Ocarina items on the edge of the blue warp. And this time what I want to do is I want to exit the boss room from behind the boss door. So normally you can't open the boss door, but there is a loading zone behind it, and you have to get to it from out of bounds. So I'm going to clip out of bounds from here, and then I'm going to use the floaty properties of the blue warp to kind of jump up and try to get into the boss door from here, into the door frame. Then from here, set up, get into position. And I am now in Ganon's castle. And so from here I need to die. So even just exiting this room would trigger the Ganon's castle collapse scene. But the reason I want to die is I'm going to do another trick in a minute called Void Warp. And it's partially based on my coordinates of where I entered that map from. And if I enter the map from the door behind me, it would actually make the trick significantly harder, to the point where I'm very likely to fail it. And death warping there just makes it a lot easier. Kind of, Andrew, yeah. Although, a lot of it is due to the fact that there's, like, super easy speedrun strats. I think maybe if I was a casual and only knew the casual strats, I'd probably like it more. Maybe. I had to get the heart container in that situation because I was at low health. If I have enough health to skip it, then I will, but if I didn't get the heart container, I would have died doing the setup for the wrong warp. So now I'm gonna do Void Warp. I'm gonna... Is this rock really gonna hit me? Okay, it missed. So, I clipped through the ledge and got hit by a bomb, and that made me fall and void out at the same time that I hit the loading zone for one of the rooms below. And so this loaded a certain room of the interior of the castle, but at the coordinates way high up at the top of the castle. So I was able to fall down and hit the loading zone all the way at the bottom of the castle escape, skipping basically all of the castle escape. There's no chance of 134. It's gonna be, at best, 135 flat. Chances of getting a PB at HDQ, well, before today it was actually pretty high because my 137 PB was garbage. But after today, not as likely because this run is... It's not good, but it's not bad. But I actually have to have a good run to beat it. No, it would be dumb to leave a bad PB to fake hype. That's just fake hype at a GDQ. I don't want to get a record just because the record before was bad. It's so fake. If I get a record at a GDQ, I want it to actually be a good run. That was a somewhat sloppy fight. Oh yeah. Okay, so the reason I had the sword there, completely forgot to explain it, is if you super slide into the cutscene, it prevents the action of Link actually losing his sword. So he can use the Master Sword on Ganon, and the way Ganon works is all of your normal weapons are reduced to the power of 1 for the first phase, so that it's supposed to take 10 hits no matter what. But the two weapons that aren't reduced in power are the Master Sword and Deku Sticks. And because the Master Sword isn't reduced in power, you can get them down in 3 hits instead of 10. Alright, I improved my PB by exactly 2 minutes in 2 runs. Well, now my PB isn't atrocious anymore, but this run still isn't that great. It was okay. This is like... Actually, this run is extremely average. This is such an average run.